Yeah, so just wanted to start with firstly understanding your entire journey of how it's all been, how it's all come through.
Hmm.
I've seen like you've, as I mentioned, that you've restarted a couple of times. Uh,
Hmm.
so what was the journey like from all the way? I would say that you've been vocal on LinkedIn about how you failed and restarted so many times. With that
Hmm.
same sort of uh, voice or the same sort of shamelessness that you bring to the table about how it's okay to fail, because I personally
Hmm.
have failed as well when I started out
Hmm.
my business previously. But
Hmm.
I still feel a little insecure when when someone asks me about it, right? So I
Hmm.
see you doing it so shamelessly and so unapologetically that it's
Hmm.
okay for people to fail and restart. So tell me about your journey as a business owner, and tell me about what your learnings, what sort of challenges you faced, and how did you go from there?
Hmm. I think for me, it's been very personal. Like it all stems from having a problem with authority as
Okay.
a child. You grew up in certain circumstances, and your household kind of molds you in a way where you are problematic and you just rebel because you can. That's your only way of showing the world that you exist,
Yeah.
right? So it was very personal from the get go. I wanted to do everything or stand against everything that my family believed in. First of
Okay.
all, I came from a middle class income household. My mother's a teacher. My dad has started multiple things. Not really, gotten somewhere with it. He's done what he could, and
Yeah.
we're always, in a flux of okay, how do we do the next month? How
Yeah.
do we get through this year?
Yeah.
Everything being very like simple.
Hmm.
Like there was always that everybody has more and I don't have enough feeling from the get go, where I was starved of certain experiences, certain things. Uh, but thankfully, things worked in my favor, and I had the opportunity of studying in New Zealand, where that
Okay.
also came from a place my parents were like deciding that for me that there's nothing that you'll be able to do here. Our socio-economic circumstances don't allow
Right.
us to provide a lot for you. um, just go out and experience the world on your own and possibly don't come back if we are spending this kind of money on you. So that was a lot of, obviously, that came with that resentment and also responsibility that I can't
Yeah.
be frivolous
Yeah.
because they have spent their life savings
Okay.
on this experience for me. So I need to be thankful and mindful of that. And at the same time, like, wow, yeah, every aspiration, every failure of yours, you've now pinned that onto me that you
Yeah.
make sure that you don't do what
You
we have done.
succeed.
Um, so it came with that vendetta, that personal vendetta. I will prove you wrong.
Yeah.
I'm worth it. I can
Yeah.
do something. So the moment I finished my education, I was like, time to go back and prove the old man wrong.
Yeah. What did you study
um,
in New Zealand?
I studied graphic design. Like
Ah,
my
okay.
parents were also like, you can draw well, you draw at the back of your notebooks.
Yeah.
I'm okay at art. But they never let me pursue anything that I wanted to do. They
Right.
always had their choices kind of forced onto me that you will only study math
Yeah.
in 11th and 12th. You know how the Indian education system works, right? You
Yeah.
have to take up a specific subject that you're going to be pursuing after school.
So
So
you
I didn't
didn't.
have any art background as such. I had a commerce and math background.
Okay. And when as you graduated as a
Mm.
graphic designer, you didn't feel like, because design is still growing in India, right? I feel like it's still
Mm.
upcoming, it's still not reached its peak. Even
Mm.
though there's so much progression, so much evolution that's happened in design. I'm sure like back when you graduated, didn't you feel like
Mm.
I should spend more time in New Zealand and then probably come back, get more exposure, or was it all
I
driven by?
think New Zealand, no, New Zealand had a lot of like. I'm very thankful for the exposure that I got in those 3 years. Also,
Yeah.
what happened was I changed as a person while I was there. That rebellious fuck you attitude to
Mm.
everything.
Mm.
That kind of changed because now I had the freedom to do what I want, when I want, however I want.
Right.
And you can only own that when there is a sense of responsibility
Yeah.
that you are willing to bring to the table. If you
Yeah.
don't bring that, then it's very hard for a 17, 18-year-old young boy who's not had enough, who's not had, the means earlier, or even I'd never sat on a plane before going to New Zealand, for example. You know,
Okay.
I had never had the opportunity of going out with my friends. Like only in my 12th grade, I went to my first school trip to Shimla. Before that, I was always, restricted by means.
Yeah.
I was always told, don't have enough, can't do this. So um, that opened up a new world to me, being in a different country. Although I was in a very small town with a population of 40,000 people,
Yeah.
and it's not like the town that I went to was like something very very. It felt like, oh, that's a downgrade considering that I've come from a city where there's so many people and so many avenues and so many things
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
This feels very restrictive, but that restricted framework and the freedom gave me an opportunity to use what I have
Okay.
and do what I can with it.
Right.
You know, and first year was hard
Mm.
because cultural shock,
Yeah.
not having a decent understanding of how the world works. Because so far you've had a not a cushioned life, but still like a protected life because you live with your parents.
Of course. Yeah.
They have formed your decision making abilities to
Yeah.
an extent of what's
Yeah.
good, what's not good, what you should do, what you should not do.
Yeah.
So now what do I do with all this decision making that lies with me?
Yeah.
So first year I was sad and I didn't know what to do and I was not really doing very well. Um, then I came back after the first year. I had a major meltdown, emotional meltdown, and I somehow emotionally tormented my parents into buying me a ticket, and they were like, "Please, beta, think about this.
Yeah.
What are we doing?"
Yeah.
And I came back, and then I got sat down by a bunch of the family members, which was again that same spiel of, "We have done everything that we
Of course.
can for you.
Yeah.
Please be mindful. We'll always stand by your decision, but just be
Yeah.
mindful of whatever you end up
Yeah.
doing." Then I was like, you know what? Fuck it, man. It's a matter of years.
Yeah.
Let's
Just
see
do
what
it.
happens.
Yeah.
And I went back with like, now see what I will do.
Right.
I made friends. I used that time wisely. Of course, I drank. I was merry. I was doing everything that
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
young boy would like to do with so much freedom. But I was like, no, I'm focused. I'm gonna make sure that I'm curious, I'm inquisitive, and I ask questions, even if that comes at the cost of people not liking or disliking me.
Okay.
And that also happened. I was ostracized for a bit within the set of people that I thought were my friends in the first year.
Yeah.
They were just like, they were too cool all of a sudden. I was
Yeah.
like, why do you ask so many questions? Why can't you just figure shit out on your own? I'm like, because you guys fuckers are 5 years older than I am. You guys decided to come here way later because this was
Yeah.
your way of life.
Yeah.
I am just figuring shit out right now. I don't even know what this is.
But were you like that
I
in school as well? Like asking questions, just being curious about things?
No, I didn't have the freedom, right? I
Okay.
was forced. These
Yeah.
decisions were kind of forced onto me. That
Yeah.
study commerce in math.
Yeah.
Keep failing, keep failing, keep failing. So that shamelessness also stems from there that I didn't really care. Even if I'm failing, I don't know it, man. I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to one day be like, no, I'm good at it because, I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not going to accept math as the end.
Yeah.
I don't like it. So it was a mix of all of these, circumstances that kind of worked in my favor. And then I started looking beyond the set of friends that I had, beyond the student accommodation. And that's where I started becoming a part of the cultural milieu of that town. I started working. I worked in a factory. I worked at a superstore. So I got to meet locals.
Right.
And I started going beyond that student accommodation geography that existed.
Yeah.
And saw a different world then. So I think that exposure kind of opened my eyes that, hey man, you can make money, you can pay rent, you can live your life on your own terms. and still do things, have the time to study
Yeah.
if you want. So that kind of helped me, helped shape me in a way, and I'm still very thankful for that. And that happened
Yeah.
at that point in time. Sorry, I digressed from the question so much that I have forgotten the question now.
Just it's actually better because you're getting deep into your journey. That's essentially what the question was, that what were your
Yeah,
learnings?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And more than design was like I'm studying it, right?
Yeah.
It was the life experiences that I collected, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I like music. I always knew I liked music, but being a part of the musicians club over there, hanging out with all the local musicians,
Yeah.
going to places that are not bars and pubs or nightclubs technically, but they are third spaces which exist where touring musicians from within Australia and New Zealand come perform and crash.
Yeah.
Being a part of that thing, learning how to drive and taking my boss's van, which was like the freight van of the store,
Yeah.
for a ride, and
Yeah.
like breaking rules, not stupidly breaking rules, not like drinking, driving, none of that, but just like you can't have more than three people on in that van,
Right.
but like
Right.
collecting my friends in that van and going to the beach.
Yeah.
So what can I do with my freedom is something that I really explored. I became myself. I
Hmm.
became a person where that rebellion kind of translated into action and productive ones, not like
Right.
regressive in any way.
Right.
I could have easily given up and been like, fuck it, I want to go
Yeah.
back home.
Yeah.
But then I challenged myself in that situation. What will happen? You will go back anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So I just decided to then continue and move forward with the resources and
Hmm.
whatever was given to me.
Yeah.
And that really helped. That really gave me that choice. And after the third year, I had saved up some money, which I could have used. And I had some offers also. I was really good at what I was doing. People liked me.
Yeah.
Even my friends, my lecturers were sad. I still remember the day very, very vividly. My friends came to the bus stop in the town that I was in. They're all crying, weeping outside. Don't go, come back ASAP. But I was like, okay, I will see.
Yeah.
I came back and a job fell into my lap right away. 6 months I worked at Saatchi and Saatchi, and then I was like, I don't like the agency world here. Ad agency is not my jam. I studied
Yeah.
design. All I was really good at what I was doing.
Yeah.
And within 6 months, I had a great recognition within the agency setup also. And
Yeah.
at that time, the Saatchi and Lawan Kenneth merger was happening. And there were
Hmm.
just too many mixed signals from everywhere if I should stay or not.
Yeah.
I just decided to let go. And since then, I've just been hustling one thing after the other. There's never been like a strict adherence of why I'm doing something. It's been more like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Just to prove a point
Right.
that I can do it.
So is irregular
And
also to prove a point?
not anymore.
This is so
I have grown out of that mindset now.
okay. So I want to ask, why irregular? Like, what were you thinking when this came to you?
I wasn't really thinking much. This also started in a very like, why the fuck not? There
Okay.
was no agenda. There was no like, everything that felt like an aspiration
Yeah.
and a goal became a byproduct of everything that
Hmm.
I ended up doing on this journey.
Right. So it just felt like a natural step into your journey as a designer, as
Yeah.
a founder, as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And I had realized very early on that because I had taken up the burden of my world
Hmm.
specifically on my shoulders very early on,
Hmm.
it was very easy for me to not think about it as a burden anymore.
Hmm.
So I could easily be,
Yeah.
okay, I will tell you what to do. Even if I don't know what to do,
Yeah.
I'll just listen to what I want to do and do it regardless.
Right.
And then deal with the consequences of it.
Right.
That sense of freedom that
Yeah.
I was talking about,
Yeah.
that gave me that ability that you are zero. What will happen?
Yeah.
You still remain at zero,
Yeah.
right? You will not go -1.
But I also feel like from the conversation that we are having, that you somehow managed along the way to find your own creative voice, right? And people take years to find that. I know people who are still struggling with it.
Hmm.
And going back to your journey as when you were in college, and then you got this liberty to be involved with musicians or people who are creative or from the creative field, right? I remember when I was back in college, it was a really mind opening scenario for me, because I was firstly around people who were extremely creative from different professions, and we had
Hmm.
colleges, like I was from DSK, right? So the college that I was at, there were multiple industries put together, multiple streams put together, like animation, gaming, industrial design,
Hmm.
product design. So for me, stepping into, I was also from the commerce background, same journey as you, that I was pushed into the business side of things because my parents really didn't know better. Uh,
Hmm.
and obviously, I didn't question much. So I got into that. And then I was like, okay, no, I want to try something else out. And for me, design just seemed natural, right? So I went there,
Hmm.
and that was the first moment that I felt like this is where I belong. Do you
Hmm.
feel like being exposed to like a creative environment, or being part of a creative college or design college or animation or any sort of creative college is
Hmm.
crucial for someone to become a good designer or good creative professional?
I think surrounding yourself with creative people and seeing how you feel in that moment is more important than a formal educational setup. And the
Yeah,
way education is imparted here and the way it is done in New Zealand is very different. I have
yeah,
taught here
yeah,
and I have tried bringing the ways that I was taught in over there.
yeah.
My struggle here has been like a lot of students need spoon feeding here,
Hmm.
which wasn't the case over there. Over
Yeah,
there, you were allowed to do whatever the fuck you want.
right,
You were given this
right.
is the brief, this is the timeline, these are the set of check-ins that we will have.
Yeah,
You come with what you have,
yeah,
and you were never. If somebody wanted to do animation, they still had to do fundamentals of design first. They had to do color theory first before
yeah,
they get into animation.
yeah.
So you chose your like your professional ideologies only came through in the second year.
Hmm.
Before that, it was, and that too halfway through the second year. Before
Okay.
that, it was all like experiment with everything,
Yeah,
understand the fundamentals correctly,
yeah.
which is not the case here. But genuinely, like being amongst creative people, and one thing about New Zealand that a lot of people don't really know or tend to miss out on as a matter of fact is that New Zealand doesn't have any hardcore celebrities,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So they have to work 10x hard, not the people, anything that they creatively do or whatever the creative output is,
Hmm.
10x hard to sell.
Yeah.
But if you think of things globally, there is
Yeah.
always a celeb factor or an influencer factor
Right. Right.
attached to it from an advertising POV. New Zealand doesn't have any of that.
Right.
So there is a lot of creative thinking at a fundamental level that's applied to, like, it's insights,
Yeah.
not like good
Yeah.
design, bad design. It's very instinctive.
Of course. Yeah.
And in the education system that I was in over there, it was never like a is it good design or is it bad design? It was
Hmm.
about hitting the brief.
Right. What works
Has
for
it
the
done
brief?
the job?
Yeah.
Yeah, has it done the job? And what is your interpretation of it? If I
Yeah.
look back at some of the projects that I had done that got A pluses then,
Yeah.
or B minuses,
Yeah.
some of them, I felt like the B minuses had better creative outputs, but I didn't follow the due process for that
Right.
result. I
Right.
didn't do the groundwork for it to feel like that. I after a point, I just knew instinctively what I need to do. But they made sure that people followed the process. Like if you
Right.
haven't submitted your process book, you will only get a passing mark, no matter how good your product is,
Yeah.
end product is.
Yeah.
So that really helped me be very instinctive about design as a
Hmm.
profession later on. But uh, as I said, like amongst those set of people, I felt like I started dressing up differently.
Hmm.
I had a different kind of a hairstyle.
Yeah.
I was open to experiments. Before that, I was always like,
Yeah.
boy, have to hang out with boys, girl touch, boy touch, that's the kind of thinking that you grow up with, especially
Yeah.
when you don't have that much exposure.
Yeah.
That changed drastically for me,
Hmm.
right? So I think that definitely helped shape me who I am. And design then was a lifestyle more
Mm.
than a professional choice that I made.
Okay. Just coming back to starting your own agency, why Delhi? Like, did it feel again natural as part of the journey? Because I feel like when you look at Mumbai, right, a lot of creative studios feel compelled to move to Bombay because of the kind of clients that they are working with. Sort of, some people move mainly because of the creative environment, some move because of the hustle. So why consciously did you decide to be placed in Delhi? Are you looking to move to Bombay eventually?
I am not looking now. I've reached that point where I want a good life. I don't really care about where the creative industries. I mean, if I have to open up an office in Bombay, of course I'll open it. I'm not going to back off from that as
Yeah,
a professional step up. But I don't think I've ever made a conscious choice of being in Delhi. It just happened by design because this is home. It's
yeah,
convenient. I have easy infrastructure access. Um, Also, the connections that I built, and I've traveled
yeah.
fairly around the country. I've done my time in Bombay. I've done a bit of Bangalore. I've done a bit of Hyderabad. So I had decent exposure to these cities, and I had a great time when I was there.
Yeah.
It's just that it worked out here, and I haven't really thought about Bombay, Bangalore by design
Right,
as
right,
such.
right,
We work with clients all around the world, so it's
right.
COVID
It doesn't really
was a
matter. I
great,
mean, I feel like ever since COVID happened, it's most of us are kind of working digitally, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
COVID was a decent proof of concept for that.
yeah. Coming to one of the organizations that you started out, Common Friend. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah, yeah,
Common
that's the
friend.
one.
So when you look
Mm,
back to that, I feel like you've documented that as a failure, right? Mainly because
mm,
I feel like you've spoken about borrowing money from friends and family, and then eventually
mm,
couldn't end up shipping the product or
mm,
eventually burn cash. What was that
mm.
experience actually like, and what did you actually learn from that? And at what point of that journey did you feel like it's over and I need to recalibrate?
I mean, it was a side hustle for me anyway. It's not like that was something that I was fully doing. That was something that I got involved with another friend.
Yeah.
And I like the idea, I like the thesis of the product, and I like the insight that he had.
Hmm.
And product guy, I
Hmm.
just felt very natural. Cool, I lend my voice, I lend my money, I lend whatever I can to this
Yeah.
business and see where it goes. And we were able to raise money. We
Right.
were able to raise a crore to ship the product out and figure out a EMF. But we once we were at a threshold of our expenditure, which felt like this is not going anywhere. We were like, man, let's return whatever's left of it to the
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
and be thankful that they trusted us with it. But at this point, there is no way
Right.
we can deliver this within the stipulated timeline that we had.
Yeah.
The learning was very clear that sometimes you can be emotional about building, but you have to remove the emotion
Right.
from the very beginning
Right.
and look at it in a more holistic manner, because raising money also is not a uh, raising money is very easy nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
People see your credentials, people see that okay, you've done a few things and you have been successful in ways,
Yeah.
they'll give you the money.
Yeah.
If they have the money, they're looking for that money to compound, right?
Of
But
course.
then
Yeah.
they sit on your head and your chest and ask you for returns,
Yeah.
and that's the scary bit. And if through that process you realize that what you had thought and what you had envisioned is not going to be the reality, is where you really need to be careful
Right.
and think that through from the beginning. So my learning, I don't have any uh, big learnings from it. It happened. There's nothing that I can change about it. The learning was, don't be emotional about a project.
And is that same thing that you apply to irregulars as well? What is it that you're doing differently this time?
Irregulars has had its joyrides.
Okay.
It's like a roller coaster.
Right.
It has grown from where it started exponentially. Like I had
Yeah.
never imagined for it to be what it is today.
Yeah.
Um, and everything that, again felt like a goal at some point has been smashed.
Right.
And there is that sense of, now what? Now what?
Yeah.
Now what? Now
Yeah.
what? But there was a point where, who am I doing this for?
Hmm.
Am I serving somebody else's, idea of who I am? Or am I serving my idea of who I am? And
Right.
that's where things change.
Right.
Do I want to live with the idea of borrowed credibility, or do I want to live with the credibility that I have built and
Right.
not acknowledged?
Yeah.
And that's where things changed.
And
And I started looking at it in a more serious way.
do you think this is the end point, or do you see like something else happening in the future?
No, that's not the end point. See, the thing is, this has given me a source of income, which
Yeah.
has sustained my lifestyle and grown it also
Yeah.
over the course of time. And it's going to continue to grow. So I will never not do this. This is
Yeah.
going to happen. But over the course of time, once you have built enough capital for yourself, where you feel safe, where you feel like, okay, cool, this is happening, this can
Yeah.
continue to happen without too much of my intervention, is where you free up your time and then you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
I am, for the next 5 years at least, looking at exponential growth here. I don't have any other agenda.
Got it.
But I also know for a fact that service businesses have a cap in this country,
Yeah.
and globally also there is, a cap that you can have. And I don't want to be a production house or do advertising.
Right.
We are going to be a branding strategy studio.
Okay.
So while we do that, while we figure that out, I don't have really big demands of it.
Yeah.
And the time is going to continue to pay the salary that I get from it
Yeah.
as a business and have a profit where everybody can feel the growth and
Yeah.
tangibly see the growth also. That's what matters to me. Everything else is going to be an add-on.
Got it. And what in this entire game of running a business, where do you see AI? Because I feel like with so many conversations about AI is going to take over strategy, branding, design, yada yada yada. I see at the parallel side, I see a lot of people jumping into then starting agencies, right? What is your
Hmm.
take on it?
I don't see it as a threat or a challenge, man. Like every 5 to 10 years, there's going to be new technology, which is going to be a game changer, which is going to feel like, wow, what is this? Every like 2000, when the dot-com boom happened,
Yeah.
the world is going to end. I mean, there is always, and everything is marketing at the end of the day
Yeah.
to increase shareholder value.
But do you use
That's
any
fine.
sort of AI
Yeah.
support?
We have integrated AI into our workflows, but not for the end products.
Okay.
It's always bridging the gap.
Okay.
We don't. That we have a constitution for AI internally. Like it is not the thinker; it is the executor. For
Got it.
things that help us bridge the gap to the final execution.
Right. But how can you tell that someone's not actually using AI to support their kind of thinking that they bring to the table?
Our workflows are pretty SOP driven now. So wherever we have ways of integrating it and making the process a little faster
Yeah.
is where we use it. Otherwise, most of the people, we have a filter for people also now
Okay.
and work here.
Got it.
I recently had the recent set of interns ask me for Claude for their thesis.
Hmm.
Like, get the fuck up. You want to write your thesis with Claude? Who the fuck are you? Who gave you this reasoning also that you can write your fucking thesis with Claude? Use your own fucking brain.
Yeah. But I mean I know a lot of people who run agencies purely based on AI. So it's crazy
I
what's
mean, good
happening.
for them, man.
Yeah.
Good for them. I'm happy for them, and I hope they grow exponentially. I
Yeah.
just don't believe in hinging everything on one thing.
Yeah.
I think there should be a healthy mix of things, and I'm a firm believer in our collective talent as a company. What
Yeah.
we have been able to do in the past 5 years itself as a
Yeah.
company, the kind of projects that we've done, some AI company can do it good for them, but I don't think they can.
No, but yeah, definitely. You guys have done some amazing work. Uh, and I keep seeing some of the work that you keep putting out because you're quite frequent on LinkedIn. So it's really good
Hmm.
stuff that you put out there. So yeah, it's
Thank
really
you.
nice to see.
I
Uh,
haven't really put out any of the work that we've actually done. We've done 15 projects last year.
yeah,
We've
yeah,
only
yeah.
put out three so far.
I'm waiting for the website to come in. It's still in the process to get live, right? So I'm waiting for all the work, all the updated, because I know
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
even we have to kind of go through that process of updation and putting it out there, and it's just a beast.
I mean, you're doing it for other people. You don't have the attention to do it for yourself as much.
I say,
That's how it works.
yeah, it's fun. But yeah, talking about brand strategy, positioning, doing all of that for brands. Um you wrote that all of it is a waste if the foundation isn't there, right? And how do you tell a founder when you're working for them that the foundation
Hmm.
is broken without actually losing them?
Um, so I don't look at it from a confrontation point of view.
Mm.
My entry into a conversation like this only happens if the foundation is broken.
Hmm.
That's where I come in with a very macro lens and ask them about their fears and aspirations.
Okay.
And if they are able to quantify that for me,
Yeah.
then it's easy for. Well, I can hide behind abstractions and big words and be like, you do this, then this happens, you do this, then that happens.
Yeah.
I am not that guy. Okay, cool. Fucking logic exists,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But if somebody wants to hear something not in abstractions, but in like solid, like, this is what it is, my friend.
Yeah.
And that's what's also helped us as an organization, where if I'm at the top of the sales funnel,
Yeah.
I can speak the language of my
Right.
consumer.
Right.
I can level with them, be it English, be it Hindi, be it Punjabi, whatever that may be in
Yeah.
my purview of things.
Yeah.
I can level with them no matter what age difference we may have, what professional gap that we may have in terms of how big they are and how big we are.
Yeah.
Um, that's never been a deterrent. Like, I don't look at myself as like, oh fuck, what will happen if I lose them?
Hmm.
I'm coming in with like, I'm here to help you.
Hmm.
Tell me everything. Be vulnerable, because
Right.
that's only when I need to help you. Otherwise, there's no point in doing any of this.
Right. And from your profession or from your initial stages as a designer, how did you move into strategy? Was that again natural by just asking
It
strategic
was
questions?
natural.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very natural.
Okay.
Uh,
And at
I
what?
worked with a lot of strategists. I understood their processes. I just supported them while I did the design, and they gave me a brief. I was like, how did you get there? What
Okay.
did you cover? I took the back end of it. Then it was just natural progression, because I'm like, okay, I know this bit.
Yeah.
This is how you get there.
Yeah.
Now, deduction wise, this is what you have to do.
Hmm. Hmm. Got it. And so when we talk about again running an agency, many people kind of struggle with their pipeline, right? About how their sales pipeline looks like. Many
Uh,
people again struggle with getting new business, and I feel like there is some sort of stagnation that hits after you've kind of peaked, right? And so, how does your pipeline look like? How do you look for work? Is it right now just recommendation driven? Is it working with existing clients? How do you go out there and get new business? Or the hunt is always on?
Um, Honestly, it's mostly inbound for us, and we only do limited set of projects with a small company, and we aspire to do big work,
Yeah,
heavy duty work rather than quantity work.
yeah.
And that's always because the results that we've delivered. There are three kinds of clients that I look at
Okay.
that come to Irregulars. Over the years, that has evolved into these three.
Yeah.
We work with a lot of Series A and above clientele,
Okay.
which are backed by investors. Either they have a personal choice of building a brand,
Yeah.
or their investor has sort of coax them into, guys, do read that.
Yeah.
Uh, or brand. Uh, then the second type is that they have FOMO,
Hmm.
that are driven by FOMO, that I have the money,
Yeah.
everybody's doing it,
Yeah.
I might as well do it.
Right.
We've had that side also. The third one is genuine brand builder, which is coming with the problem statement from the
Right.
inside. The teams are struggling to work with what we have.
Right.
They want to really build a structure around it. So it's a mixed bag of these three. And
Okay.
then because they are at a level where they are being looked at in a certain way, once their product and their brand is seen when it's launched, then everybody's like, who did that?
Yeah.
So an example would be Arata, for example.
Hmm.
That was a project that we worked on last year, launched last year itself. I think beginning of this year, not last year.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and now we're getting a lot of skincare traction all of a sudden.
Right.
Everybody in the EPC space is
Yeah.
reaching out to us and
Yeah.
asking us questions. Some of them are fund driven, some of them are their own capital, want to build a brand, that kind. Then somebody will see our work in the
Hmm.
goods, consumer tech space. We've done Noise Junior, for example. We've also done Boat, which is going to come out soon
Right.
after the IPO. Um, the people have that sense of, oh, we work for this, can you help us with this? Because then
Right.
they sense a level of trust that if a big company like that can
Yeah.
trust them,
Yeah.
we may also be able to do that.
And this is just a personal sort of question that I have, just to get some
Hmm.
advice. I feel like my agency currently is set in that small space, right, where you're looking at more of it being a commodity, where you're taking up everything and anything. How do you then move to working with, say, like these sort of clients that you just mentioned? How do you move from being in the space where I am to the space where, say, an
The power
irregular?
of saying no.
But isn't that hard? Isn't that, as I
It's
mean,
very hard. It's
with bills to
very, very
pay?
hard.
With bills to pay, how do you say no?
I mean, you just hope that it works out, man. Like in those kind of scenarios, because especially in the beginning, like I didn't expand this overnight, right? That's why I've taken my time to build it to where it is.
Yeah.
Because I've said no to things so that I can focus on delivering what I do best and basis that and
Yeah.
the next big thing.
Yeah.
So it's been a gradual progression.
Hmm.
Uh, and for example, just yesterday we had a very exciting proposition come to us.
Okay.
They wanted things to be basic things to be done in a week's time.
Hmm.
It's a very exciting. I can't say much
Hmm.
because it's confidential, but very exciting.
Hmm.
World stage kind of a project.
Hmm.
But my realities are that my funnel is already jammed up.
Yeah.
I have to work on resourcing and deliveries first before
Yeah.
I think of anything new.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take on things unnecessarily where I overpromise and underdeliver.
Right.
And then you have to say no, and sometimes with regret, sometimes with remorse, sometimes with joy.
Yeah.
Because what you decide to say no to, what you're absolutely not doing, you will give you clarity for what you really want to do.
Right.
Because I can continue to think of what I don't have, what I
Yeah.
can have,
Yeah.
and with that hope, not really focus on what I already have here.
Yeah.
But saying no to that and really focusing on what I have,
Yeah.
my opportunity cost doubles right there,
Right.
because I will deliver this in a much more sustainable, better manner, and the return on investment will be much higher than me trying to do three things at once.
Right. And then you're obviously taking that hit on revenue, right? So is that something that comes as part and parcel of saying no?
Yeah, obviously it does. But then I can raise my prices because I've delivered a better
Right.
quality
Yeah. And
project
eventually make up for what
year
you.
on year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what is the one thing about running an agency that no one really tells you about? What is it, that one thing that you learned?
It's lonely. It's
Sorry?
fucking lonely.
It's
It's
lonely.
lonely.
Yeah, it's lonely for
Yeah.
sure.
Because you are just constantly making decisions without really understanding the repercussions of them and just hoping that they work out.
Yeah,
Like you're hedging your bets.
yeah.
50% of your decision making is from the insights that you may have, and 50% is pure feelings.
But don't you
That's
have
it.
like your bouncing off like a sound system where you can
Of
just
course, I do. I do. But dude, the kind of opportunities that I've gotten year on year, sometimes these people then also start feeling like I don't think they understand the complexity of what I'm going through.
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Like
of
I've
course.
been in rooms where I am dealing with fucking billionaires of the country who are making decisions for lakhs of people
Yeah,
at once.
yeah,
And I've had a conversation with them where I have to think about what to do and how to respond to them.
yeah.
And I don't know whom do I go to with that conversation also.
So when you're solving for these big brands or the kind of legacy organizations, do you take from what you've already done, or how do you solve for people like who
So
you've
every
never?
problem is a unique.
Sorry.
It's a unique problem every time. It's a very very unique problem.
So then, how do you solve?
And
Do you take some time to understand where you are, how that scenario looks like, and then go?
yeah,
Okay.
that's why we do select projects through the year. I rather focus on the quality and the substantial stuff
Yeah.
that I'm doing, even if I'm reducing it to. I'll give you an example. When we started, we were doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H
Hmm.
for let's say 1,000 rupees.
Hmm.
Now what I can do is I can add more services
Yeah.
and increase the price, or I just do A, B, C, D for 1,000 rupees. Then I do
Right.
ABC for 1,000 rupees. Then I
Yeah.
just do AB for 1,000 rupees.
Yeah.
And that's where my growth metric lies. Rather than increasing my price over and over again and adding more things,
Yeah.
I really double down on what we do well, and then everything else becomes an add-on, and it's an
Right.
easier upsell because then they truly believe in AB. Then C,
Yeah.
D, E, F, G, H is
This
just
is
like,
what.
if they've done AB, they'll be able to do everything else.
Yeah. Of course. No, that makes that makes a lot of sense. I feel like, yeah, a vertical agency is something that I see a lot of people getting into where they just focus on one sort of service. And then, as you said, like upselling from there just makes things easier. Uh, how do you manage?
It's a double-edged sword. Sorry, you were saying. I saw there was a
No,
lag.
no, please continue. I was actually jumping to the next question.
So it's a double-edged sword, right? As you said, you miss out on revenue.
Yeah.
There is obviously that possibility of missing out on that revenue, but is revenue growth the only metric that I'm looking at?
Hmm.
Of course, as a business, revenue growth is important, but
Yeah.
at what cost
Right.
is also a bigger question that I need to ask myself. Do I see
Hmm.
myself becoming that, you know, scale it up to a point where I'm not being able to control? Because I have seen agencies become something and then
Hmm.
just like crumble and
Crumble. Yeah.
crash.
Yeah.
I've seen that with myself in the past. And if I have to play the long game, I want to make sure that we are looked at as strategic partners and not just executors.
Hmm.
Because executors, there are dime a dozen,
Hmm. Fair
right?
enough. Then you're competing on price,
Then
which really just gets you to become a vendor, right?
it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a vendor.
Yeah.
And if somebody is going to treat me like a vendor, that is not even an ideal client for me.
Of course. Yeah. No, makes sense. So when you talk about building, like, because I feel like Irregulars is one of the winning studios out there in today's time. When you talk
Mm,
about building a winning studio, that also comes with building a winning team, right? Uh,
mm,
I feel like people I have worked with, it's very close to my heart. I'm pretty sure
mm.
it's the same for you. So when you talk about hiring or when you talk about letting people go or people just transitioning out naturally, who's the
Mm,
hardest person
mm.
you had to let go? And
Many, dude, all of them.
what did that teach you about hiring?
So I've had a bunch of good apples, bad apples,
Yeah,
both at every level. And dude, let me tell you one thing. My ex-employees
yeah.
are now my clients, by the way.
Are you sorry?
some of them are my current clients because they have
Oh, wow.
joined agencies or businesses where they are at a level where they can commission us.
Right. You lucked out then. You shouldn't be complaining.
I am not complaining. I have no, that's what I'm saying. Everybody has had their, one thing that I'm very clear about is
Yeah.
that if we are winning, we are winning together.
Yeah.
And I have one simple logic.
Yeah.
If you believe in being an irregular, then be an irregular. If you don't, then don't.
Right.
You can't have your step
Yeah.
one step in the door here and the other one outside.
Yeah.
That's irregulars is not a choice. If you're committing, do it because the
Yeah.
moment you exit this door,
Yeah.
you will have a world of opportunities open up that you had never imagined.
Right.
That could.
Yeah.
Because people are not going to look at you as an executor. People are going to look at you as somebody who's the next irregular.
Right.
It's a badge of honor that you're carrying.
Right.
So it's a big responsibility also for you in
Of
terms of
course.
what you do with what you're
Yeah. So, did you naturally, because I feel like it takes some time to understand what kind of people you want to have close to you, right? So,
Hmm.
how did that process come about? Did you from day one when you started Irregular know that, okay, these are the kind of people I want to work with? Or did that, as you said, you had bad apples. So, how did you start filtering out?
Filtering is also natural progression. I have always surrounded myself with smarter people,
Okay.
people who are smarter than I am.
Okay.
Because any kind of creative profession, unfortunately, in this particular geography, comes with ageism,
Right.
right? I'm not saying that I'm old. Fuck that. What I'm saying is that I'm going to only get older,
Yeah.
right? But I need to have ears on the ground.
Hmm.
I am the oldest. No, I'm not the oldest. Priya is the oldest in the company. She's
Hmm.
38. I'm 34.
Hmm.
Priya and I single-handedly bring the average age up of this organization to 27.
Okay.
So we are always looking for fresh, young, hungry talent. They do their time here, which is 3 to 4 years,
Yeah.
and then they soar high.
So is it just limited to the kind of portfolio that they bring to the table, or is it what do you
No,
place more
it's
emphasis on?
good portfolio is a bare minimum. If
Right.
the portfolio doesn't really talk to me, then there's no point. If
Yeah.
I see bad type and if I see frivolous fucking work, it's like, fuck this, I don't want this.
Yeah.
Like context is very important. Why are you doing what you're doing? If you're just
Yeah.
showing me cool illustration, like good,
Yeah.
great job.
Yeah.
We'll hire you for an illustration brief when we have one. We don't really solve a purpose for me.
Uh,
For me, personally, it has been like problem solving. What problem are you going to solve for me so that I can do the next thing? That's what I look for in people.
okay.
What aspect of me that I was handling
Yeah.
individually
Yeah.
can I now hand to you and you take it?
Right.
Just and it's not like it is your whole soul responsibility now.
Yeah.
I will back you up with what I have.
Right.
I will never ever. I've never shouted at anyone publicly or even inside the organization. Like there has never been public humiliation. There has never been curtness. There's never been any kind of rude behavior. That's something that I'm completely against.
Right.
Even if I have to reprimand someone, it's like, can we have a conversation? Let's just go for a walk.
Okay.
And it's never about work. It's never about, I'm like, where is your head at? What are the problems? Let's solve them so that you can show up to work.
Right. Right.
Because I know you're good.
Yeah.
If you weren't good, you wouldn't have been here in the first place.
Right. And how do you know that the people you bring on board are seemingly going to fit within your culture that you're trying to set out?
I think multiple conversations beforehand and being vulnerable with them and while they are vulnerable. I've never given out a test.
Okay.
And it's I think it's the law of attraction also. It's what you put out is what you get.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what you're trying to build is what you will naturally get. The people
Yeah.
who actually look at your vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just have like two last questions. So when you look at being a serial entrepreneur like yourself, right? What, as you mentioned, as I asked you, what comes next after Irregulars? And if you had to look back say 5 years back, and if you had to restart Irregulars, what is the one thing that you would do differently?
I think operational clarity,
Okay.
rather than trying to do everything all at once in the beginning. I would like to have some thought process behind, like
Yeah.
some kind of process to the madness, because it will always be madness. You can't
Yeah.
change that.
Yeah.
Uh, but just some thought there. But I wouldn't change a thing either, because it's just been
It's work.
beautiful.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been. Um, I have come to realize that everything will feel empty after a point. It's only you making things exciting over and over for yourself.
Yeah.
And so now, like, there was a point when I felt sad about dropping design fully from my, you know, executional day-to-day work.
Yeah.
Now I don't even think about that as a problem. Now I'm like, revenue, quarterly goals, meeting this person, selling this, figuring
Yeah.
this out. And my spiel to everybody is,
Yeah.
what do you want?
Yeah.
You tell me what you want, I'll give you that. You give me what I want from you.
For sure. But don't you ever miss it? Don't you ever miss being on the design table?
I do it for myself. That's where our personal projects come into play, right? And
Yeah.
that too, also, I don't design as much. I'm just like, do it. You do it. You learn.
Yeah.
Dude, the amount of work that I've already done has exhausted me so much. I
Yeah.
have personally have done over 50 brands with my bare hands.
Right.
So for me, that gratification is done. I don't have to prove a point to have a
Of
better
course.
portfolio anymore.
Of course. No, but like I feel like as designers, you just do it because you enjoy it, right?
I find other aspects of it
Okay.
enjoyable now. The business, especially, I get my creative kicks elsewhere.
Okay.
The
Anything else
greatest satisfaction of things.
you've taken up to get your creative fix? Like me personally, I've taken up cooking. Do you have something that you've taken up on the side that you like to channel your creative energy in?
Hmm, not really. I
Okay.
just do what I feel like. I never. The thing
Got
is,
it.
I anyway draw a lot. Like
Yeah.
without thinking about it, I just like even when I'm taking notes, like
Yeah.
you asked me a question and I don't know what this means. I'm constantly drawing. My notes are just
I feel like
drawings.
that's an
They're
AI
never
robot.
notes.
Uh,
It's the top of a bike.
oh,
I
okay.
don't know why I made that.
Okay.
Like
But
I'm
yeah,
constantly having conversation and drawing. So that just keeps
okay.
me happy that I still have
Okay.
a flair.
Okay. My last question is, what is your creative confession?
How do you mean? I didn't understand this question also.
Like as a creative professional, if you had to confess something about how you run your business, how you've been as a designer, about your journey, what is your creative confession?
I don't know how to put it subtly in English. Um, I listen to everyone.
Huh?
I make them. I make them feel like they're
You're
heard.
listening?
Yeah, but I do what I have to.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's really nice to see that you've been like very out there, very vocal. It's the same kind of energy that I see when you're putting out stuff on LinkedIn. So I appreciate that. I really appreciate you taking out the time. But that's been what I have in place for you.